Okay.
Well, speaking of certain jobs that people have in these sims, and talking about the simulation of life, why we have jobs we have. And specifically, you and me.
Oh.
Kind of like the history of our jobs. I tried to think of the stupidest way possible to word it, and that's what you get.
You did it, buddy. You did it. No, that wasn't.
Pretty proud of that.
It was good. It was like one of those things where you're like, what does he say? Oh, it
right.
like brought you in because you're like, this is nonsense. I get it. Yeah. You want to go first?
Whew. Sure. Are we starting from the beginning?
From the very beginning.
From the very beginning. Okay. The year. Shit, I don't even know. It was like 2002 or something.
Yeah, I was like, don't do that. Dude. I'm not going to fucking give you any years. Get out of here.
But I was in 7th grade, and my first job was working with my English teacher in the summers to paint people's houses.
Yep. That's one of those.
And that was the first time I ever saw a penthouse, because one lady's house that we were cleaning or painting, just like this old ass 90-year-old something lady all by herself. She was like, I just can't paint it myself. I'm like, okay. And
she was probably like 30 years old, and you're like, she was 150.
But then I had to go use the bathroom, and there was totally just a penthouse just chilling. I did not work a lot that day.
What do you mean?
Because I was flipping through a penthouse. At that point, there wasn't like internet porn or anything.
I see what you mean. I thought you were saying you were in a penthouse. Because you're like, I found out what a penthouse when we went to paint this old lady's penthouse. And then I'm like, wait a minute. The old lady had a penthouse?
A couple too many times, sorry. Penthouse magazine.
Yeah, there you go. I just didn't know what because you could be painting inside a penthouse.
Right. I know. That now that I hear you say that makes sense. But
I was like, you painting?
Yeah,
you painted a penthouse, all right.
Yeah, I pretended to have like just diarrhea for like half the day because I was just intrigued.
You're just like,
I was like reading the stories.
You're like, these are good articles.
I mean, you can only flip through the pages so many times before you start reading it. Because I was like, what the hell, fantasy? What?
Like, you're like, oh God.
You're
like, what's happening? What is this?
So that was my first job.
Okay, you got fired that day. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe, you don't know.
Okay, well, I will begin with my work history. So I'll only say it because you did yours. I doubt yours was unofficial or under the table pay, but I worked with my grandpa doing landscaping and remodeling houses and stuff for many moons before my first actual job. So I think like my first real job was actually when I was like 13. I worked at an after-school program called Beacon, and it was so I was in 7th grade when I started working there, and it was inside of my middle school, which was Rishel Middle School.
Inside of it?
Yeah, I was inside the school, so it was part of the ESL program. So my school was one of the ESL schools where it had the English as a second language. So the upper half of the school was all English speaking, and then the bottom floor was Spanish. The ESL. And it wasn't. I mean, when you put it that way, it sounds bad, but it's like that there was less ESL kids, and it was a smaller portion of the school.
Okay.
So. But it did have like kind of a basement-y feel to it.
Oh.
Anyway, now that I reflect, I'm like, actually, that's kind of fucked up.
A little bit.
A little fucked up. But anyhow, they're like, you get this corner. Yeah.
Man, I didn't feel like we were that old, but now I do.
Oh, dude, it's weird. So anyhow, the after-school program was Beacon. It was funded through Catholic Charities. And I got hired on. My mom worked at Catholic Charities, so I was lucky enough to have like kind of an in on that whole thing. So I got hired on as like just front desk sign-in like guy.
Clerk.
Yeah, clerk boy. And so I did that for, I don't know, a month or two. And then they ended up making me a youth leader where they had me like helping in the Beacon program. Basically, they would get funding that would let them teach like a cooking class or a computer class or an art class, typing, shit like that. So
Yeah.
I basically became just like the gopher boy for Beacons, where they would be like, do this data entry, do this, fucking go up there, fucking move the shit around, go move the coolers. So that was chill. And then they ended up getting involved with the Dell Techno program.
Oh, I think I remember that one.
That was like that was like the first big one that gave a lot of kids computers.
It got, I think that's what made our, like, computer lab awesome.
Yeah, because they were probably all the Pentium 4.
Yeah, we had like the floppy disk computers.
Yeah.
And then that shit kicked in, and then we had a whole lab of like modern PCs at the time.
So yeah, I mean, so I because I was part of the Beacon program, they ended up linking up with the Dell Techno program and sending me for like a training through Dell, where, you know what I mean, like in the 90s, like I had already done a few computer programs through another like thing that my mom had signed me up for, just some, I don't know, some fucking shit, some free program through DPS or something, where she's like, "Oh, there's a computer class, you got to do it, you got to learn a computer." She like kind of forced me into shit. She's like, you have to learn computers. So that was cool. Thanks, Mom. But anyhow, so I already kind of had some knowledge about that, so they sent me to that, and I ended up getting like a certification through Dell to be able to teach the classes. And I was like 14 at the time, which was cool. Nice. So like I would just take up, me and all my homies would just, they would, like all these kids that signed up for these programs, I got to teach them how to like build, disassemble and build a computer, install Windows, how to install Office.
Oh, okay.
Like I taught the class on how
to be IT for their parents.
Exactly. Like the first, like, here's RAM. This is what RAM is. You have to put it in amounts of 4, otherwise it won't work. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I was teaching my peers this. It's kind of cool reflecting on it. That's like at the time. Dope. And then we just started pirating so much software. And we were like,
you weren't supposed to do that.
Holy shit, we can get so many video games and shit. Like, who needs a console? Like,
doing the fucking playground deals,
dude. Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. I was one of the first kids to have a CD burner because I had access to shit because I was part of these computer programs that people were like, I had a CD burner, so I was like burning CDs. I was fucking burning video games for people and shit.
If you like this video, like and subscribe. And if you want to catch the whole podcast, it's going to be right here on YouTube every single Thursday. And we'll see you there.